Hey y'all, Ramdino here, coming at you again from North Carolina. If you've come here to help me grow and support the hiker community and support the Appalachian Trail thru hikers, you have come to the right place. And the best way you can do to help me with that is go and share this channel, subscribe to it, leave me a comment down below, and you're going to want to do that. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. If you like getting free gear, that is. And give me a thumbs up. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on with the thru hikers and the trail. So we've got a lot of folks out there. We are like smack dab in the middle of the bubble. Lots of folks on the trail. I've had reports that some campsites have had as many, particularly down in Georgia, as 15 tents around there. So that's a lot of people around the campsite, and not every campsite can take 15 tents either. So don't have any pictures of that. Hopefully, if you're a thru hiker out there and you get in a situation like that, would love to see some pictures out there of what the shelter situations look like. But let's go ahead and talk about those thru hikers that are out there. So Hulk, he is through the Smokies, and he got through the Smokies on day number 10. So it took him 2.5 days total north and or south and north end to get through, but as soon as he got to the Davenport Gap, that was on day 10 from leaving Springer. So of course we know Hawk is wide open and he is busting out those miles. Pino is around the knock and should be in Fontana knocking on the door, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park any day. Subman, Suds, and 2Ps, they are past Devil's Fork Gap and on their way to Irwin. Mr. Freeze, he got some trail magic in Grayson Highlands, and he also ran into Happy up there in Grayson Highlands, and they kind of hung out, got him some trail magic, and they are both north of that area now. Stifler got a trail name, and her trail name is Luna. So Stifler is, or Luna now, is one of the 4 humans that is hiking with 5 dogs that they call the Wandering Wolf Pack. So they have gone past 100 miles. They are somewhere around the Franklin area. And of course, they got to go Franklin to the knock to Fontana, and then to hit the Smokies, they'll have to get the dogs shuttled around. So that will be interesting to see how they do that. But in any case, congratulations on Luna getting her trail name. Not so much, he is somewhere around Atkins, Virginia. Crusoe checked in, and his tramley is north of Hot Springs. So of course his tramley consists of Night Train, but then he also has Long Shot, Wicked, Boomerang, Slippers, Sweet Corn, Pickles, and Brie. And they also ran into another tramley that they've been hiking around that consists of Viking Man and 3 other folks. So he said that's a really solid, really good folks in that bubble, so they're enjoying that tramley. And then Pookie Bear, who has been getting smaller and smaller as he goes up the trails, he said he ran into some type of stomach issue going on, a little early for the norovirus right yet, but he did get checked into the hospital, had some lab work done, he checked out okay. But the biggest takeaway from that is that even though he has lost all this weight, somewhere around 40 pounds, that he is in good health, and the doctor said he is doing fine and not to worry. So that is great. He is enjoying the Appalachian Trail diet, and he got some trail magic up at Way Gap, and he is continuing on north. He said the person up there, his name was Moon or something like that, and he just wanted to thank her for what she was doing out there for trail magic for the thru hikers. So Michael Santiago, Spotter, Gadget, Pac-Man, Round Trip, Bass, and Paradise, they stayed all in Pigeon Forge this past week, and they should be done with the Smokies either today or tomorrow sometime. Mike and Kathy, they will be in the Mount Grayson Highlands area this weekend, which is actually now, and so they'll be the Grayson Highlands area, of course, is before Mount Rogers. They'll be on the Mount Rogers area and then heading north. Allie's made it to Dix Creek Gap. Silva is on her way to Fontana. Justin from the Chicken and Dumpling Duo got his trail name, and that's Papa Smurf. Old Goat, Papa Groot, and JD, they are around the knock. Susan Camper Reed, she is in the Smokies. El Jefe is done with Georgia and in North Carolina. Evan made it to Dix Creek Gap. Brian Helton got on trail, and he was number 731 to sign the logbook down there. And I asked him, are they doing the classes? Have they started those this year? So the classes that they offer down at Amicalola Falls State Park are the classes like teaching you to leave no trace, navigating on the trail, which consists of follow the white blazes, but also how to hang a bear bag, PCT style, things like that, just basic knowledge that folks need. Not a, they don't last long. I think you can do them all in like 15 minutes, certainly less than half an hour. But I asked him if they were offering those classes, and here's what he sent from Chelsea, the Ridge Runner, who was doing those classes.
Hi, Ramdino.
So that's pretty cool. Thanks a lot for that, Brian and Chelsea. Appreciate the shout out. Horsepower is in Massachusetts, and he on his calendar year Triple Crown, so he is just screaming along the trail. Chris and Erica Burke, they made it to North Carolina. Peggy Jones made it to Neal's Gap, and Quicksand, he is somewhere around the Mount Rogers, Grayson Highlands area. Jet has left Franklin and is on the way to the Knock. Gerald, Melissa, and Matilda Shannon, they started their flip-flop around Bear's Den up in Virginia, and they're first going south, and they are RVing the trail, much like Subman and Suds and Two Peas. Drifter and Sherper, they are back on the trail from COVID. And when I say back on from COVID, not that they had COVID, but that they got off last year due to COVID. So they're continuing their hike, and they're on their way to Damascus. Elizabeth's north of Grayson Highlands. I ran into her on my section hike up there in the Grayson Highlands, Mount Rogers area, and she is on doing her flip-flop, and she is also on the Appalachian Trail diet. She has lost inches, she says, at least 1 inch, maybe more than that, and she has also lost several pounds. So congratulations to you, Elizabeth. SOA has made it to Fontana. The Vintage Hikers are in the Roan area. Tex is on trail. Trisha Thomas got on trail, and Daphne Riviera is around the Franklin area. So those are all the folks that sent me their updates from this past week. Thanks a lot for doing that, guys. Makes my life a whole lot easier. If you want to be included in the update and you're a THru hiker, then send those to me either through Instagram or Facebook direct message, or you can email those to me at ramdinoroamingthetrails@gmail.com, and all those are down below. So we had a few folks that had to get off due to injuries or whatnot. We had Two Forks got off. He took a nasty fall at Klingman's Dome on the ice about a week ago, and he has a bruise from knee to hip. So he can't go downhill, so he is off, and he says he probably may or may not be back this year. Not sure about that. Lynn Gert is off due to an injury near Franklin and hopes to get back on after some rehab. And Crawl had to get off. He broke his leg, went to the hospital, had some work done on it, got back on trail after breaking his leg, got blisters because of the broken leg, and decided to go home and get some more work done before he got back on and heal up. So all that kind of sounds a little odd for somebody to actually break their leg and get back on trail and then have to get off because of blisters. But if you know who Crawl is, and I highly recommend you go to his channel and check him out. Crawl is a veteran, and we thank you for your service, Crawl. And he gave a leg, he has a leg prosthesis. So he is hiking the Appalachian Trail with a leg prosthesis. So that is pretty awesome to see that going on, and we just look forward for you getting back on the trail, Crawl, and following you along. So there's other folks that are starting as well. So we got Brandon Wasden, Dynamic, Two Knee, RV, Skidmark, Trisha Thomas, Outdoor Fresh, Andrew O'Bannon, Jim Anderson, Father Time, John Rose, John Mahar, Christopher Armstrong, Greg, Robert, Mountain Man, Edward Hall, Cup of Tea, Randolph, Geo, Hot Mess Hiker, Hillbilly, Ann Pfeiffer, Jean, Rollon, Osat J-Lo, Patrick Noonan, Tony Mascarello, Gypsy, Legend, Phil Myers, Double Take, Jake Liberty, Ridgetops on the Trail, Funkster, Runway, Bear Paw Pup, Tex, Tara Vavrick, Gigi, Grey Dog, and Roadrunner. So those are all folks that are starting this week. So go down there in the description section. You'll find a link to all those folks that are starting. They'll be highlighted in yellow, and you can add them to your social media. Go and check them out and spur them on and give them comments, cheering them on all the way to Katahdin or whatever direction they're going. So we got a lot of folks that registered for the ATC, and we're going to talk about that. So we got Nobo. Last week we had 2,591, and this week we got 2,611. Last week we had Flip Floppers 143, and this week we've got 148. And Sobo we had last week was 135, and this week we had the same amount. So it looks like we didn't have any registrations for Sobo, but the total that we've got is 2,869, and that is up 25 hikers. So that's kind of a low amount to move from one week to the next. So it looks like some of those registrations are starting to get lower per week. We'll see, but that is still up from last year, 412 hikers. So this time last year we had 2,482. So we're still got more folks out there on the trail. I expect that there is a considerable amount more, and there typically is anywhere from 10 to 30. This year maybe more percentage than that because of the issues people have had with the ATC this year, and they're not registering. I think there's a lot more out there on the trail than those numbers indicate. But you have to look at that with how many folks have actually registered in the registration book down at Amicalola Falls State Park. So we've had 731 plus that have registered this past week, but this time last year we had 1,148. So even though our registrations are up, our signatures on the book, our registrations in the actual book at the Amicalola Falls State Park Visitor Center are down. So I thought that was pretty interesting statistic. Some trail news out there. So I found something that happened that I thought was really neat and so indicative in the hiker community. Shadow is an upcoming thru hiker, but he saw Not Today on one of his videos, and apparently Shadow has some background, is an experienced hiker of some type, because he watched Not Today and he felt like he was having some issues with his pack. Now, I haven't talked to Not Today to find out if indeed he has, but the really cool thing is that Shadow offered Not Today his pack to, if that would help him get him straightened out, to, if he was having trouble, indeed having trouble, and he needed some help, needed a different pack. So I thought that was pretty cool for Shadow to do that. I've connected those two. I don't know if the pack switch actually happened or not, but in any case, I thought that was pretty neat. Shadow, appreciate you being a great member of the hiker community and doing that. And then I also contacted the Mount Rogers Appalachian Trail Club. So last week I indicated that several of the bear boxes were locked up on that section through Grayson Highlands, Mount Rogers that we did. They indicated that they had some other reports that they were locked up, and they were not supposed to be locked up, and that they would send somebody out to make sure that they were not locked up. So don't really have an explanation of why they're locked up, but they're not supposed to be, they said. So, and they got back to me very quickly, within 24 hours. So greatly appreciate the folks up there at Mount Rogers Appalachian Trail Club getting back to me for that fast reply. And then our northern correspondent, Whispers, he indicated that Massachusetts now allows folks 14 days past their final vaccination to enter without a quarantine or test. So Vermont and Maine already have the same thing in place, the same requirement. So yeah, I know I said Massachusetts wrong. I said Massachusetts, but it's Massachusetts. Okay, I got you. New Hampshire also changed their domestic travel requirements into recommendations. So New Hampshire's no longer, their requirements that they had are now just recommendations. And he also indicated New Hampshire says that those recommendations, that nobody in the U.S. is required to do any type of quarantine or test to enter New Hampshire anymore. They recommend it, but they don't require it. So appreciate that, Whispers, you giving us that information up there, and please continue to do so. So we had the bag tag from last week, the lithoscope bag tag that Purple put together for me, and also one to give away to you. And Purple is from Infinity Creations, and I did not know if, since he was getting ready to start a thru hike, if he was going to be selling these. He is selling these, so if you want one of these really cool bag tags, then you can have a custom-made one like mine with my logo on it, or you can have just a regular bag tag that looks like a regular bag tag. but it still has the really cool background on it, then I have included his link down below. He will be selling those until mid-April, and then he'll be leaving in mid-April to go out on his thru hike. So that's pretty cool. And the winner of that drawing for that bag tag was Steffi from Steffi's Trail Mix channel. So Steffi, if you'll send me a DM or an email with your information of where you want this mailed to, I'll be glad to get that out there to you. And we've got another giveaway this week. So I did a review on trekking poles several videos back. And this week we are going to give away a set of those trekking poles. So right now, if you want those trekking poles, these are carbon fiber, very lightweight. I am currently using them, so if you would like a set of those with a 5% discount, and they're already pretty inexpensive, down in the description section there's a link there where you can go and have one of those, and you'll need to put that special Ramdino code in there, but you can have a set of those with a 5% discount. And if you want to be included in the giveaway for a set of these this week, then if you'll just leave a comment and leave the words hiking sticks at the end of your comment, then that will enter you for the giveaway for this coming week. And then I wanted to just say something about the vaccinations for the COVID that's going around. So I had intended not to get the COVID shot. I'm not one of these that believes you should run out and get every single vaccination, although I don't believe that all vaccinations are bad. I know that when I have had the flu vaccination, I got the flu. And when I don't have the flu vaccination, I don't get it. So I know there's a difference between the transport medium for the COVID shot, which is using messenger RNA, versus the flu shot, which is actually a dead version of the flu virus. So I get that, but in any case, I was not going to get it. Then I had a really good friend of the family who we grew up with her family. My wife was in her wedding. She was in our wedding. Our kids grew up together. We used to go camping with them together. And she is somebody who's a lot like me. She's kind of a straight talker. You always know where you stand with her. And she was not going to get the vaccination either. And she wound up getting COVID and almost died in the hospital, thought she was going to die. And it was a bad situation. She was on oxygen. She still is, even after like 3 to 4 weeks. She's still on oxygen at home, still on oxygen therapy at home. She still has a therapist that comes to her, and I guess they do breathing treatments or something. I'm not sure what they do, but it has been a long road to hoe for her, and she's had it for a long time and is still dealing with the ramifications. So after seeing her, when somebody's close to you like that, kind of makes it real, I decided to go ahead and get my vaccination. I did that. Had no after effects other than a sore arm, which a lot of people have. A little tired the night of, but no big deal. Next day, the sore arm was gone before lunch. The more I used the arm, the less it hurt. So I had the Pfizer version. So I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. I'm just saying that I did, and that's just something to consider. There are, a lot of folks that are dying from it. No point getting into that about the statistics on that, but anyway, just want to mention that and $4 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks. That's all I got this week, folks. As always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.